Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am here to talk about Angela Hill versus Denise Gomes. Denise Gomes is 8-2 as a pro, 23 years old, and she's given up 1 inch of height and 1.5 inches of reach to 38-year-old Angela Hill, who is 15-13. 15-13 is not the prettiest record. I cringe when I see it on television, but she is a girl who suffered every one of those losses in the UFC, and she started her career in the UFC. From the get-go, she's been a UFC fighter. She had 4 fights in Invicta, won all of them, but every other fight she's had as a pro has been in the UFC. If you tell me anybody goes 11-13 as a UFC, even though that's a losing record, I'm going to say they had a hell of an MMA career. But Angela Hill, she is old now, 38. She's 15 years older than her opponent. I mean, that is insane. And I can't say she's slowed down a bit, because she really hasn't. But she's definitely gotten some miles recently, especially that Mackenzie Dern fight. She took a beating and a half there, where that counted for like 2 fights. Or maybe 2 beatings, I guess. But yeah, that was a very taxing fight, a 5-rounder, and she still kind of stole the show, even though she was dominated. She still showed incredible grit, tenacity, and durability, survivability. She was beaten up every which way in that fight and nearly strangled and arms broken, and she was still standing in the end. She has been finished twice, and that was by Randa Marcos and Rose Namajunas. And, of course, Carla Esparza got her out of there in The Ultimate Fighter. That was her first exhibition fight. But the other 11 losses are all via decision, and a lot of them are close. A lot of them are close fights. She's a girl that could easily have victories as of now over Michelle Waterson, Amanda Lemos, whoever the fuck else. But Angela Hill, she's always been a vulnerable fighter herself. As good as she's gotten, she's still got vulnerabilities. Definitely much more of a striker. She's not the easiest girl to submit, but if you can take her down, you can control her. And I think, submission-wise and ground and pound-wise, she's not the biggest threat herself on the ground, unless she's fighting Ariane Canellosi. But Angela Hill, she's not the most well-rounded fighter, but still, she's a very tough out. Most of her fights are going to go to the distance, and she's got a great work rate. Her recent wins before the tough loss were to Lupi Godinez and Emily Ducote. Those are 2 excellent fighters. I don't know where they stand in the mix of things, but those are 2 solid victories. And Angela Hill was probably 37 at the time she beat both of them. So I'm not ready to write her off. Defensively, she looks still pretty damn healthy, and she seems to have the heart of a fighter. And offensively, she's still one of the best volume strikers in the division, and has excellent cardio, toughness, and all that shit to back her up. And she hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. Again, Mackenzie Dern is obviously a very unique matchup. Don't sneeze. Don't sneeze. Don't sneeze. All right. Denise Gomes, she is 8-2 as a pro. She has 6 wins via knockout or TKO, 2 via decision. And her 2 losses come 1 via TKO, 1 via decision. She lost, I believe, in her debut to Giselle Moreira. That was a TKO in round 2, probably on the ground. Wish I saw it. Tried to, couldn't see it. And her other loss was in her debut in the UFC to Loma Lookboonmee, who beat her by decision. And Denise Gomes still impressed me in that fight, but yeah, she lost. And Loma Lookboonmee is a tricky fighter, She's kind of a striker on paper, but we've seen enough to know she's more than just that. And that's what that fight was. She has knocked out Bruna Brazil and Yasmin Haragui, or Hasmin Haragui, I don't know. Yasmin Haragui. She knocked out both those girls. Bruna Brazil, she beat her up and then sat her on her ass with the 5th overhand right that landed, and got her out of there in round 2. And Yasmin Haragui, she steamrolled her. I think it was the first punch that landed. I think it was just one punch, and then she TKO'd her against the cage. Just power, distinct power, Denise Gomes. She's a thick girl, and she's, again, not the kind of like I mentioned about Daniel Marcos. She's not the most mobile and agile fighter, but of course that lends itself to power because she's sitting down on shit. And she's going to be trying to figure out that timing of Angela Hill. Angela's going to be moving around, trying to create attacks from the outside and avoid that power coming back at her from Denise Gomes. And I'm picking Angela Hill to win. I thought this fight would have similar odds. I just thought they would be flipped. I think Angela Hill, she's got a lot of vulnerabilities and whatever, like I got into, but Denise Gomes is not going to strangle her. She shouldn't on paper anyway. And Angela Hill, in a stand-up fight, unless her chin fails her, even giving up knockdowns and some big moments, I think it will be a close fight, and I'm expecting her volume to take over down the stretch. That's if Denise Gomes doesn't hurt her with punches or leg kicks and slow her down. But I think Angela Hill is going to be much better on the outside, and she will get much better as the fight goes along. So Angela Hill winning is the pick. I think she'll have a tougher first round and then take over down the stretch. Angela Hill at 38 years old, winning a decision like a veteran should, is the pick. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.